Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome back to Sports Scene on WLCS TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television. Tim Alcorn, great to be back in the Keebler Studios here at WLCS TV 20 here in the city of Lorain. I don't know how many of these shows I've done, but I know I've done a lot with this guy. Our guest, the girls' head basketball coach at Lorain High, Mark Feldmann, as he guides the Lady Titan program. And boy, we were talking. How many of these shows have we done? I guess it would tie into how many years you've been the head coach.
I don't even know how old I am. Honestly, every year my birthday comes up. It's like,
how many years have you been the girls' head coach?
I don't know.
The always prepared Mark Feldmann for an interview.
So with school consolidated, 12 years ago? 11 years? Yeah. So probably 12 here. And then, I was probably I was at Southview for maybe 11 or 12.
Wow.
And so
I couldn't
probably 25.
I couldn't have told you.
I think it's 25 or 26.
That's remarkable.
I don't think it's any more than that.
Well, let's start there then. So what keeps that fire burning, man? What keeps that energy level so high?
It's just fun. It's, I don't know. I still think practice is fun. The kids, like we had those snow days the other day. And, nobody in Ohio was on the roads, but I was having practice. And I finally had to cancel. I got Brian knows to text me and say, Mark, you can't practice today. Brian, are you sure? And so, I send my text out to the girls about 4 o'clock or whatever. Well, we're not going to practice today. And they're like, oh, it's smiley faces, emojis and stuff. And I'm so upset. But I really, as old as I am, I enjoy going to practice. I enjoy teaching. It's because when you go to practice, you're teaching basketball. And you have a crowd. They like, I'm a biology teacher. They don't care about mitosis. I try to get them to understand. I try to get them to really appreciate mitosis.
What is mitosis, Mark?
A cell division. And cells divide.
Well, that's why they'd rather talk basketball.
They love that. So basketball, teaching basketball is different than in the classroom because the kids really want to listen. So, and girls, girls sometimes get a bad rap, but girls are really, really good at it. They're very coachable. Sometimes more than guys. They're like sponges when it comes to practice. They think you know something.
I remember you mentioned Brian Corey, athletic director. I remember when Brian was coaching, and it was at that point that the OHSAA was looking at expanding the number of regular season games that teams could play, and Brian was one of the few coaches that was adamantly opposed to it. And he said, because I love practice. I want to have more practices than games. I thought that's one of the craziest things I ever heard. But he gave the explanation that you did, that it's teaching the game of basketball.
I had a girl text me the other night, and she was telling me that she couldn't be at practice a certain night because she had to work. And I says, well, will you be at the game the next day? That was my response. Of course I'll be at the game. I got off for the game. That's, we all love the games, but practice that's where you work. I told the girls yesterday, we've got a game tonight, and I told the girls yesterday that, sometimes when they get talking or they're not paying attention quite the way they should, I always bring out the point that 24 hours from now, I'm gonna have 1 minute in the huddle, and I'm not gonna be able to do everything I'm doing right now. We are gonna work on this situation right now, and we're going to need this tomorrow night. So zoom in right now. Practice is where the magic happens. As far as
so, let me ask a follow-up to that. Is this a good practice team? Have they bought into your joy of practice?
I don't know if they bought into the joy. But they do it. They do what I tell them to do. I'm pretty. I don't know. I'm pretty demanding on the girls. I'm just a demanding.
But I'm sure you had teams that didn't practice.
Yes. There's been, but this is a good practice team. This is I have a core group of kids that never miss practice, and they're always right there on time. And my kids, they start practice. So we come in every day, and and I'm doing this. Might be answering a text or something from maybe you or someone else, and our group, my girls
I haven't texted you.
Not you, but Brian Corrigan. But the girls are real good at just. They start whether I'm ready or not. And I've got assistants and stuff too, but especially my three seniors have been real good this year about, they get practice started. They know what. I always come in with my plan, and I set my plan on the table, and we do a few other things, and they all come over to check my plan out because they want to see how much running we're doing. They want to, they want to, and they want to improve my plan. And sometimes they take it and they walk away with it, and I have to go get it. But they do, and I'm, it's a really, really good group to work with as far as that goes.
Well, you mentioned as you and I sit here and tape this Sports Scene show, you do have a game tonight, and it is senior night, correct? And you just alluded to 3 seniors. So let's start there as far as girls on this team, because I'm sure the 3 seniors have provided some leadership and have been through the program. So let's start with that as far as girls on this 21-22 basketball squad.
So you want to know who they are? So
I'm sure our viewers do.
Princess, Grandma, and Bambi. Those are our 3 seniors. Everybody's got to have a nickname. Sure. You're not in the fold if you don't have a nickname.
What do they call you, Coach?
So old man.
Yeah, there you go.
But no, Princess is Tanisha Llanos, and everybody knows what we call her that. And she's our princess. She's the princess, and she plays hard. And then Kiara Jenkins has always got some type of injury going on, and she's played a lot of this year with some little nagging injuries, and so she's always kind of dragging one leg with her all the time. So we call her Grandma. And Grandma Jenkins, we got a last name like Jenkins. You got to be Grandma Jenkins. And then who's Brooklyn Ferguson. So everybody knows Brooklyn Ferguson. I've had her since 3rd grade. I've been calling her Bambi since 3rd grade because if you look at her legs, she's got Bambi legs.
Okay.
And she kind of walks like a deer. Now she runs great, but she walks like a deer.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I mean we have fun. We have fun with our kids, So I mean, Brooklyn's tonight's senior night. They have to tell me what their favorite moment was when they've been in. She with some of them have to think about it. And she her freshman year and sophomore year we went to West Virginia, and at University of West Virginia, where Seth is, the University of West Virginia, and it's a great camp. But those are the kinds of things that kids just remember, stuff like that, little things like that. Or we went to this pizza place one time, and it's not always the game-winning shot, or it's a moment we had together at McDonald's or something, and kids remember that kind of stuff. So.
Does that still surprise you when you see those moments that they remember, and you're thinking, they're going to talk about this, or they're going to write this down?
She had a game winner the other night, and she didn't talk about that at all. I mean, so yeah, but it's refreshing to me, and like I tell my wife, that's why I keep doing it. I mean, sometimes I'm here, I've been doing this for, I guess, probably 25 years or so.
We tried to figure this out.
Yeah, it's been a long time. But those are the kind of, it's still fun. And I mean, I'm here from I get here at 6 in the morning, and I'm just a big believer. I've always got to be early to everything I do. And I get here at 6 in the morning, I teach all day, and sometimes I live in Grafton now because we moved. We used to live in Lorain, and we moved. But I don't get home till 9 o'clock at night, so it's 6 to 9 a lot of nights, and on game days it might be even.
Right.
But my wife and our kids are grown, and she wants me out of the house anyways. You know how that is.
Oh.
But it's not that bad. It's not that bad. But I still enjoy, doing it. It's kind of when I hang it up, I don't, I want to find something else to do, because it's I enjoy doing it. It's fun.
It's in your blood. There's no doubt about it.
And then the games. I like the game tonight. I can't wait to compete against that other coach. Yeah.
Just the competition of it.
Oh yeah. Just if you're a competitive person, you live for game day.
Absolutely. You're exactly right.
Even though it's a high school girls basketball game, you think what's wrong with this guy?
Turn your hair and your beard a little gray there, Mark.
Yeah.
That competition, it can wear on you, can't it?
Yeah. I've shaved this a couple times. Keeps coming back.
So we talked about your 3 seniors. Well, let's talk about some of the underclassmen, because obviously if you only have 3 seniors, you've got a lot of young players on this Lady Titan team.
Yeah, we've got a nice little situation. We play these, so tonight you'll see my 3 seniors sitting in the bleachers during the JV game, and you'll see the rest of my program out there in the JV game. Because we take everybody, because the kids are allowed to play 6 quarters. So we've been dressing a couple of the juniors down, and we got all these freshmen and sophomores. We have maybe 4 freshmen and maybe 5 sophomores who play a bunch, and a couple of juniors. So that JV game, they all play, and they get their quarters, and they play. We had a freshman team, but I tell you, COVID has just really destroyed a lot of programs. So hopefully next year we get, but we had to kind of stop the freshman thing because kids were, we started off with 10 and then it was down to 8, and then eligibility, and it's just been, the COVID thing's been a really tough thing for everybody. I talked to coaches all over the place that are losing their freshman programs, and we got to try to get those going again. But our kids are everybody. We got a lot of young kids on that JV. They all play, and then they'll turn around and we'll have 13 kids on that varsity bench tonight. So those, they wear the varsity uniform during the JV game. So when you look out there, you'll see about 8 girls with varsity uniforms out there playing on the JV game. That means as soon as the game's over, they're getting right in line to do their layups again.
There you go.
So,
but it also means a very bright future. All these girls are getting this
so
much
I should
varsity.
mention some names.
Absolutely, please do.
So Delaja Nixon, Delaja Williams, she's a junior. Janasia Nelson Riley is a junior. She'll be coming back. Sophomores, we've got, freshman Danielle Witten is a freshman. She's getting a lot of playing time this year. Kayla Mosley is a sophomore. She starts for us. Jada Morales is a sophomore. She gets a lot of playing time. Bailey Gomez is another sophomore that plays varsity. We got Simone Witt is a freshman who plays varsity. Amina Mustafa is a freshman point guard that plays varsity. They all play a ton of JV, and then they dress varsity and they get to 2 or 3 quarters. And so you hate to come back next year and say, you're on varsity, but we've probably got like 9 kids coming back next year that are getting legitimate time this year.
So where have you seen the biggest improvement? Where have you seen these girls really develop from where you started to tonight being seniors?
Well, like all coaches, anybody who's worth their salt, you do stuff all summer, and you're doing stuff in the spring, and you're trying to encourage your kids to play AAU, and you're trying to encourage your kids to go to developmental camps. And so my core kids, they play all year, and most of the year they play a lot, and so they develop a lot of chemistry. They get used to playing with each other. We've seen a ton of growth come from the kids. Toward the beginning of the year, with the varsity, my 3 seniors with 4 or 5 others would just crush the other kids. Now in practice, we have good solid scrimmages in practice. So now everybody's gotten better.
And just so that the viewers understand, though, there are guidelines. You can't take your whole team and just put them on one AAU team or something, correct? You've got
you can't do that. No, I'm just kidding.
As far as I know. No, I've been away from the high school game for a couple of years.
We don't. I'm just saying we encourage the kids to play on different AAU. Yeah.
But so there's a limit.
It's 2 per school.
Really?
Yeah, it's 2 per school. Although not everybody adheres to that, but we won't. I'll tell you later.
That's a secret.
I'll tell you later. I'll tell you later. The guys who are cheating. But that's good.
Well, if you want to share that, Mark, that's completely
Does
up to
Lorain
you.
want to know? Brian's like, shut up. No, it's 2, and so we encourage our kids to play other sports. Like some of the girls will run track, some of our girls will play softball. We've got
and that's a benefit too, I would think, because you want to have multi-sport athletes just to be exposed to other sports and to learn other coaching methods and so forth, just so that they have a variety of experiences.
Yeah. We in Lorain and places like Elyria and Lorain, we sometimes financially we struggle for the kids to play because they want $500-600 to play AAU. So we just try, anybody who does want to play, I always try to just find ways. Whether it's, I just try to find money, try to find ways for them to play. That's usually that's a hindrance sometimes. Though we can't always just write checks. Whereas in some of your districts, parents can just write checks, and it's much easier. But our kids have done a really good job. If they want to play, we try to make it so that they can, and we have real committed kids.
And circling back to this year's team, I would imagine that, as a younger team, you're going to take some lumps. As a coach, you've had young teams, you've had veteran teams, you've had clubs that have made deep tourney runs. Yeah. How do you handle that psychologically with a team that is young and they're going to get better, but still losing hurts sometimes? So how is that a challenge for you?
Well, it's and that's why they're all playing JV, because my young kids are playing JV games and doing well against people. And then they turn around and get dressed and they play in a varsity game, and the ball gets knocked out of their hand, or if there's a loose ball, it's
a different level.
It's a different level. It's a strength issue. It's a weight room issue. I've got kids that are hitting the wall. They're coming from a junior high season where they played like 12 or 13 games, if that, and they didn't practice on Fridays, and they didn't do anything Saturday or Sunday, and they're going from that to me. And
That's scare anybody.
It's tough. So it's tough from a time, and we played 22 games, and then we got the tournament, and so we've got a 5-month season. It's the longest season of any sport. Basketball season is the longest of all the sports, and so it's kids have to adjust to that because they do hit the wall.
And I would imagine you have to adjust to it as well, though, right?
Yeah.
Practices this week aren't as long as they were earlier. I mean,
We adjust.
Should I assume that? But
we have to quote unquote move the wall a little bit because it happens to the kids. So and I always try. I've been doing this for years. I've learned from some tough stuff over the years, but I always try to this sounds nuts, but try to put in new drills as the season goes on. I come in one day for practice on a Tuesday, and I got this new drill, and we'll spend time on this. We'll spend half an hour learning this new drill, but they have fun. They have fun learning new things versus that same old, 3-man weave that we've been doing for, So you try to take that 3-man weave and just change it a little bit, and they love it. Just little things like that. Put new inbounds plays in later in the season. Put maybe a couple wrinkles into what you've been doing. Like just anything that can be new to the kids it helps them. It helps a lot. I found.
It keeps them invested.
Keeps them fresh.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And try to do some fun things. Try to make practice more fun.
Where have you seen the team grow the most or improve the most, especially with the younger team?
Well, we decided, and holistically for JV varsity, we decided probably about a month ago that we've got all this stuff in. We work on our man-to-man defense. We work on all these things. What's the one thing that could help us win games more quickly or quicklier? Is that a word? Quicklier a word?
No, it's not.
Not a word.
You teach biology and not English.
Quicklier. Write that down.
What kind of word is that?
More
quickly.
More quickly. But we came up. We decided that finishing at the basket is something that we could really improve quickly on if we could finish more shots. So we do a lot of finish stuff, Euro steps, drop steps, spin moves, anything around the basket where if we get into a transition situation and we like to play that way, we can make more buckets. We can make 2-3 more buckets a game because we've gotten better at finishing around the rim. So that and shooting. And we've seen improvement. We've seen it from all the way up, from the freshman JV all the way up. We're shooting the ball better. And a lot of that is, a lot of the kids have great form and stuff, but just getting that muscle memory, getting a lot of shots up every day. So we've gone to where, we'd spend maybe 25, 30 minutes on shooting most of the season, every day in practice, and we're about 45 minutes to an hour out of an hour and a half practice, or an hour and 45
Really?
minutes.
Just shooting the basketball?
We spent, shooting at shooting 10-footers, pull-ups, coming off some type of obstacle, all different kinds, just finish moves and shooting. We've been doing a lot of that. And, we're making more, and you say, shooting threes. Well, you know what? The threes are good. I watch the NBA. It drives me crazy sometimes, but
it's easy now, Mark.
It's all they shoot. Brother,
it's the analytics of the game.
Yeah, you get an extra point.
Right. Right. So if you take the possessions, I understand the math of it. Although I'm sure it's different at the high school level because those percentages have got to be tweaked a little bit.
We have this thing, and the girls will sometimes throw it up at me because I say it all the time. Like I just stop practice in the middle of practice and I just get excited and they're like, "Oh, here goes coach." But we call it that was a good basketball play. And so there's times when, you drive into the paint, you draw 3 people, you kick it. She flies out. We always say, everybody, if you know basketball, the whole concept of one more. pass it to that next person. In high school, there's no shot clock. So, in the NBA game,
Right.
in college, you got to, sometimes there's bad shots that are taken because that clock's about to run out.
Absolutely.
But in the high school level, we try to make that extra pass. And when something happens in practice where someone kicks it and someone kicks it and someone hits it and the ball gets to the 3-point line, we're excited about that. We don't even care who's about to shoot it because it's quote unquote good basketball. There's such a thing as just good basketball.
The right basketball play.
Yeah, and I tell the girls, the girls, oh man, I don't know if I should say this on here. The girls, for my girls, we don't know, and girls all over, we don't get the crowds that the boys get. We don't get the huge, like Friday night crowd. We don't get but I always tell the girls, if you play good basketball, people will come. Nobody, including me, wants to watch the ball go over the backboard. No one wants to watch the ball sail out of bounds over someone's head. So if you make good passes
Right.
and you play fundamental, good, solid basketball, people enjoy watching that.
I love all sports.
Mm-hmm.
I've done play-by-play of pretty much every sport. To me, basketball is the most beautiful sport when it's played correctly. It's almost like a ballet. When the ball is moving and players are cutting, man, it is gorgeous to watch a well-played
And the Cavs are a
game.
good example of that right now.
Yes, they are.
That's what everybody likes about the Cavs right now, is the way they
Right.
play.
I mean, I enjoy football,
the winning
I enjoy
helps.
baseball, but basketball, the movement in the game of basketball, to your point.
I agree.
And when the right
agree.
basketball play is being made, I don't care if it's boys, girls, junior high, high school, Cavaliers.
We'll
it's beautiful to watch.
We'll be in the middle of practice and we're scrimmaging or whatever, and someone, boom, that ball's moving around or something, and she'll brick that three from the corner, and I'll blow the whistle, and they're all like, "Oh gosh, are we in trouble? We have to run." I'm like, "That was great basketball." The girls look like they thought they were in trouble, and they're like, "Oh yeah," but it was good basketball because
Not every shot's going
I
in.
know you missed the shot, but I am celebrating the good basketball that you guys just did. And so we try to, like tonight, like sometimes, no, I won't. Sometimes in our conference, there's games that sometimes we're clearly better than the other team. Sometimes we're clearly not as good as that team. But like when you're playing a team that you're superior than, you don't want to play down to their level. So I just encourage the girls, let's go out tonight, and we say it all the time, let's just play. And they'll finish my sentence for me. Good basketball, right, Coach? Yeah, they'll write it on the board. We just want to play good, solid basketball tonight. And if we do that, we got a really good chance of winning.
There you go.
That's
So 2 more questions before we wrap things up.
I think we could
time-wise.
do this for 25
We've
minutes.
done it for 25 years, man.
this is a long
So
time.
2 more questions. You've alluded to a couple of times as you and I sit and talk at senior night. When you see the end of a season coming, no matter how many years you've done it, is that difficult for you? Is it always tough when there's only a month left?
Does it make me sad?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I know it makes me soft.
I always felt sad. Always felt sad at the end of a basketball season. I would go into like a funk.
When you go to that tournament game, and you're like, okay, this is it, and we might not get this tonight. You get that. When I get to the fourth quarter, and if I'm down 6 with a minute left, I start to feel bad because I know I got to go in, and sometimes they're going to cry, and girls will cry more than boys will, and sometimes, especially the seniors, are just devastated. And it's like you got to say that last speech, you got to talk about the banquet, and hey, girls, you did, and yeah, it's always the hardest night of the year. And then the next day, in the next 2-3 weeks, they don't come by. I mean, some girls, but they don't come by and see you as much because now they got softball, they got track, and you're like, they don't need me anymore. It is. It sounds terrible, but I still have that feeling, and that's why my wife always says that's why you got to keep coaching. As long as you have that feeling, like if I was, I'm so glad this is over. Well, that it's time. It's time to give it up when you feel that way.
There you go. No, people would always. I shouldn't say people would always, but I would be asked, what's your favorite sport to call? What's your favorite sport? And again, I love all sports, but I would always say basketball. And they were like, well, why is that? I would say, because I'm never sad when the other seasons end, but I'm sad when basketball ends. I really am. It's like it's like that door closes.
March Madness, that one shining moment. Well, then you get the pro game though, and the NBA game goes, for a long
Well, I think our
Playoffs
season's
are
going to
getting
go
pretty
on
long.
for a while
Yeah,
now.
you guys are, yeah.
All right, so I said two more. So here's the final one. Tournament time right around the corner. And again, young team, but how beneficial will that be for them? Just to be in a situation where, as you just said, if you lose, you're going to turn in your uniforms and get ready for the banquet.
I don't know if this is how you want me to answer this, but my team last year was better than this team that I got right now. We had a nice team last year, and we only played like 10 games because of COVID.
Right.
And the school district was testing the kids, so you couldn't just stay home when you're sick. I mean, they had to get tested every week, and if you had it, you had it. Yeah, so the whole team would get shut down, and so we were quarantined 5 times last year. I was driving to our tournament game last year in the car, and my phone, I got one of those things on my car where it tells me Brian Corey's comes up on my screen. Oh, what's Brian want? I'm driving to the gym to get on the bus. Mark, your game's canceled. Somebody had COVID. They got tested the day before. They got the results. So one of our kids had COVID, and so the whole team. And so we had to call. So we didn't get to play in the tournament last year. We only played 10 games, and I had I had a pretty good team last year, and those kids didn't get to play but 10 games and didn't get to play in the tournament. So when you talk about the tournament this year, we are so thankful that we've gotten to play almost 20 games right now, and we're about to play a tournament on Saturday. So our perspective, it changes your perspective.
Yes, it does.
And so all these kids are so young. A lot of my kids, my seniors know, and my juniors know, but a lot of these freshmen, sophomore kids, they don't know what a district. They don't know what a district championship is. They don't know what a sectional final is. You can explain it to them. They don't know it. They haven't walked into a gym yet on a Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock, and there's no one in the gym, and there's nothing going on, and there's people setting up the mics. They haven't walked in that gym knowing that, oh my goodness, this could be it.
This could be
it's
it.
such an eerie
Right.
tournament.
There's
When you get to a
something about
tournament
that.
game, there's an
Yes.
eerie, and it was even worse. It's changed. It was even better, I guess, worse or better, when you would go to that venue, that neutral venue, where you're walking into EC or you're walking into Westlake High School, and it's not even your gym, and you got to walk down that hallway, and the seniors feel
Right. It starts to weigh on you.
Oh,
Different pressure.
you might be done today.
Yep.
And so they haven't experienced that yet. So, and we're playing Elyria. He's got some young kids too that probably haven't experienced it too. But it's for all. We only keep the kids for 4 years. So you're always dealing with newbies. You're never dealing with
That's part of it
You're always
too.
dealing with young kids. So a lot of these kids haven't experienced that.
Good stuff.
That's awesome.
Well, it's not the final time for you and I, my friend. We'll do this again.
Go
Maybe number
Cavs.
26.
Yes, go Cavs.
Yes,
It's fun.
It has been fun. All right, so that's going to do it for this week's edition of Sports Scene on WLCS TV 20. The always entertaining Mark Feldmann. Let's not forget Joe Bock, B-O-C-K, and of course his crew with WLCS here in the Keebler studio. So until we talk again on Sports Scene, so long, everybody.